calling all people pleasers, I have something important to tell you. If you can't do something right, then don't do it at all. Here's what I mean by that. If you are going to be a people pleaser, if that is one way you have learned to survive, if that is one way you have learned to have people accept your power, here's a powerful tip. You have to remember that you is people too. So if you are going to be a people pleaser, I want you to elevate it, darling. I want you to do it right. I want you to elevate this, okay? If you are a people pleaser, don't forget that you are a person too. So you have to make sure you make space for you. I find that people who have learned to people please to survive are usually disconnected from their body and their sensuality. The downside of being a people pleaser is that even when you are honoring your body for intimate spaces, a lot of times the enjoyment is still pleasing someone else. If you have learned how to be a people pleaser to survive, you find yourself on autopilot every time you answer that phone call when you know you don't have it, every time you give financially, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, when you actually know you don't have it. There's nothing wrong with pausing to please yourself in that moment, actually recharge, fill your cup up. Then you can pour back into those that you love from overflow. Okay, and we don't have to be like Seymour. My girlfriends and I just watch Little Shop of Horrors. Okay, and y'all remember Little Seymour was just trying his best to give little Audrey to some blood, just didn't have nothing going on. And we don't want that around here. All right, so I'm going to share my Healing Through Seduction Blueprint for you. I want you to focus on these 9 principles. Either focus on them every single day or pick one that really speaks to you. All right, and if you are new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. Pearl Noir here, also known as Empress Noir, and I am the founder of Healing Through Seduction, and I am so proud to tell you that I remember my ancestral assignment, and that is why we are here. To my OGs, what's up? So let's talk about your sensual blueprint. Number one, you are going to focus on redefining that intimacy. So I want you to explore new ways to connect with yourself deeply. I want you to stop being afraid of yourself. I want you to stop being afraid of your tears and see the emotion moving through you as orgasmic, right? You wouldn't shun tears from intimacy with someone else if the bodies are clapping and you started to cry during the big O. You would not fear that. You would welcome that. So I want you to, shift your relationship with intimacy, shift your relationship with your tears, shift your relationship with your own thoughts. Learn how to be still and silent with yourself. Okay. Principle number 2, I want to encourage you to find your inner sanctuary. Okay. So this is about you exploring who you are without outside validation. This is about you having sanctuary within yourself, a sanctuary in your mind, and those who feel called an actual sanctuary in your house. Many of us have an ancestral altar, but is there an altar for you? Is there a place in your house that's just for you, not for your lovers, not for your community, not for your friends, not for your children, not for anyone else but you? Can you set up a table where this is where your vase goes every week? And every week, you write a beautiful letter to yourself, to your past self. If you're like me, I like to write letters to this version of me right now from my future self, right? Or I switch it up and let the younger version of me, the teenage version of me, the 5-year-old version of me speak to me and just sometimes remind me, baby, you have done it. Okay. Principle number 3, you want to heal through storytelling. And my favorite way to focus on storytelling is obviously the art of burlesque. Many people limit the art of burlesque to taking off your top and doing a little jangle jangle. But burlesque to its core is about allowing yourself to be enamored with yourself. It's about allowing yourself to tell a new story to yourself and let an audience, be it an audience at home when, maybe the audience is your inner child or your higher self, or the audience is your lover, the audience, maybe your children get a chance to see you put on a concert and have fun. Because I say we're already telling ourselves stories every moment. Even if you don't believe in affirmations or manifestation, that's too woo woo for you. But the T is, it's not, and you're full of shit. As my teacher, Rachel Rogers, would say, you're full of shit. We are always manifesting, we are always telling a story. And so, my invitation is to dedicate time to tell a powerful story, right? Let's move on. We're going to honor our boundaries. This is my favorite principle, and it's the one that makes people the most nervous. So I'll say this, it's not about you changing other people's behavior. And it's not about you being mean to yourself about anything you did to survive until this point. But each time you unlock a new level within yourself, each time you evolve, each transformation, each activation requires new boundaries for this version of yourself. And it's really about how you're going to treat yourself for this version of you for this timeline. Okay. The other principle is practice self consent. I find that, we give ourselves permission to have our energy used by other people, have our body used by other people, our resources, our power, our light force. But we haven't learned, or we haven't given ourselves the space to give ourselves consent. So, one way you can practice this is before you give someone else your energy source, ask your body, hey, do I have consent to do this? And your body will let you know if you can show up right then and there, or do you need to pause? Another way is, do I have your consent to trust my dreams? If you can trust your fear, you also can trust your dreams, right? And so you can ask your crown chakra, you can ask that third eye, you can ask the energy to give the consent to trust, not just anything negative that's being filtered into your mind, body, and spirit, but also the positive things too, things that light you up. All right, principle number 6, liberate yourself through sensual movement. What I have to say is, if sensuality and your connection to your body wasn't important, and if it wasn't powerful, they would not work so damn hard to make sure that you are sitting in front of a cubicle. They wouldn't make it so easy for you to numb yourself out by constantly scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. Here's a negative story. Here's a negative story. Here's something traumatic for your eyes. And then there's no space for you to transmute that energy. So if sensuality wasn't important, it wouldn't be the very thing that they teach you to feel ashamed about, and it wouldn't be the very thing that they tell you to ignore. So the more sensual you are with yourself, the more you trust your body. And when you trust your body, you also trust your intuition. So you will get the hell out of Dodge faster when you need to, at work, at church, at home, with your friends, when you're out in these streets. You will trust your body, you'll trust your intuition. And when you trust your intuition more, you trust your dreams more. You'll go after your dreams more, even if they are so-called hard. Okay. And then when you trust them dreams, you trust that spiritual team that's working behind the scenes for you. You'll trust your spiritual alignment. And that is what makes you unstoppable. But it all starts with how willing you are to be in your sensual power. All right. Principle number 7, you want to activate your chakras on a daily basis. I think the chakras are so important because the chakras, and aligning them and paying attention to them, helps us feel that peace, helps us feel the ease within ourselves, helps us feel more powerful, helps us hear the voices, the voices that are positive to us, right? the sounds that feel good to us. Because I know some, I know I attract different people, so we want to honor the voices that are not harmful. All right. This is my favorite one. This is the one that I couldn't wait to focus on as the dark skinned girl from the hood. I was told straight up, you only dress up for church and funerals. And you're dark skinned, so you better not put any red lipstick on. You better be covered up. You have big breasts, so you better cover up all the time. You don't want anyone to do anything to you. No, I'm in my power, and I'm going to put myself in spaces where I am safe and they are sacred spaces. Most importantly, my own damn home. So I want you to fall back in love with glamour. What can you put on right now while you feel disconnected? What can you put on your body to help you feel more aligned with the version of you that you are cultivating, that you are calling forth, or a version of you that you have had to suppress in order to survive? And glamour isn't limited to fancy clothes, designer clothes. It's not limited to that. Can you have a beautiful vase from the Dollar Tree? And maybe you can paint it yourself. Can you put rhinestones on it? If you do have the budget, can you start buying china every quarter? And that china is just for you. It's not for when company comes. How about being powerful and being in love with how you look and how you feel when no one else is around? And last but not least, we want to honor the ancestors. And when we think about honoring our ancestors, the one thing I want us to think about is, stop being disrespectful in thinking that we need to heal from all these generational curses. And my ancestors were downtrodden. A lot of times people, their reservation for working with me is, well, I don't really want to call on my ancestors because I don't know what they're going to bring in. Well, first of all, not all of your ancestors were downtrodden, and things are passed down. So the dreams that you have about being empowered and being liberated, being the first millionaire of your family, being an author, being a cook, being a stay-at-home mom, do you really believe you're the first person to have that thought? If genes are passed down, so are dreams. Okay, big girl. Oh, okay, y'all might be a rapper soon. Okay. If genes can be passed down, so can dreams. So when we think about honoring our ancestors, we want to, one, remember that they didn't just pass down trauma. They didn't just pass down generational curses. They also passed down generational wealth of knowledge, passed down generational dreams, passed down opportunities, passed down generational love. So when you think about healing yourself and healing yourself so that you honor your bloodline, remember that not all of your ancestors were downtrodden. And you can call on, as we do in Healing Through Seduction, bring in the sensual ones, bring in the empowered ones, bring in the creative ones. You have full autonomy here. Okay, so over the next few days, y'all, I am going to be 9 days to be exact. I'm going to focus on one principle a day and encourage you to do the same. All right. And if this was inspiring to you, inspiring to your body, your heart, and your soul, I want you to go ahead and book a call because 2026 is coming. And I am doing Healing Through Seduction online plus a 3-day intensive upstate. Okay, we are moving out of the dance studio and moving into a manor. Okay, and this program in particular is going to be reserved for Black women because I know sometimes when certain things come up, I know Black women, you have been telling me, I'm waiting on you to do an all Black event. So the time is now. And that's what I have for y'all today. Let me know how you feel. Let me know if this was helpful. If it was, and you don't know what you want to say, you can just put 9, okay? 999, 3 nines, okay? In the comment section below. All right, y'all. Mwah.